Hey guys, SirVern back here. Today I'm bringing you a different kind of video. Normally it's just video games, but I have a few other hobbies and interests than video games. I also like to hunt and fish, and also I think knives are interesting. So I carry a knife most of the time, and recently I've been watching a ton of knife videos trying to find the perfect knife for me. All of these I've tried, and for some reason or the other I don't love them. So I think I found the perfect knife. I bought it and I'm going to show you that today, along with some other EDC items that I always carry with me. But anyway, we'll get right to it. So this knife I really like is a Victorinox Swiss made knife. Most of the knives you see are going to be cheaper, around $50 or less. This is just your Swiss Army knife. There's a bunch of different variations on it. You can get different things in it. Some have saws and 2 or 3 blades. This one's got, pretty much the traditional stuff. Screwdriver, Phillips head, and then it's got a fiddle focus. You got a toothpick and tweezers, or the other way around. And that's ultimately what I didn't like about this knife. First of all, it's there's nothing wrong with these knives. If you like them, you like them. I got into them back in some Disney movie. I think it was like The Rescuers Down Under. He had this knife, I think, or it looked like this knife. So I've always been interested in these, even as a kid. But as you can see, lost both of the losable parts, and I don't like that. You can replace them, of course, but I don't know, man. And the more I get into knives, you can see these are used tape and residue all there. I need to clean them. This is another Swiss made Victorinox knife, stainless steel blade, super narrow blade. Length is probably about 3 inches, I think, on most of these. Some are even shorter, but just a traditional Swiss Army knife. This one's got the second smaller blade, and forgive me, I don't know all the terms, and I'm definitely not like a knife. I enjoy knives, but I'm not like a knife guy. I just want to have a nice knife, and I've never had one until now, so I'll show you that last, like I said. But you can see the scales are all busted up. I carried that one for a good while. This one I did not carry that long. I thought I would like this knife, and it is kind of cool looking, right? This is the Gerber Kettlebell, I believe, but I think it's a China-made knife, and they're just cheap, man. It may be made in the USA, but you'd think they would, brand that or put that on here somewhere. Indelible, as they call it. But I do like the back of this knife. It's all stone-washed, including the handle. It's really cool looking. I like this knife, but one thing I don't like about it is how it closes. Same way with this one. Same exact way. It closes with a liner lock, I think they call this. And forgive me, like I said, I don't know all the terms. But you got to put your finger in harm's way. And see what I did there just a little bit ago? Doing this exact thing, and that little notch caught me. But I don't like that. I don't like your finger having to be in harm's way to close the knife. So it's one hand opening, and I guess it's one hand closing. You just got to be careful, because this is hard to close. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not loving it. But this is, I think they call this blade up, where the clip sits in your pocket like this and the blade's pointing up. And some people prefer one way or the other. I don't really know. But anyway, Gerber Kettlebell. As you can see, you can take this knife apart and clean it. And here's the spacers right there. It's a good looking knife. But anyway, did not fall in love with it. This is the most recent knife I've carried. My dad's carried an old timer for a while, or has an old timer, used to carry them. But I just, grabbing it, two-handed opening is what I'm trying to get away from. Sure, you can one-hand open it, right? But it's just not ideal. And you cannot one-hand close it unless you, do that whole number. So you can't really one-hand close it. So I guess what I'm looking for is one-hand close, one-hand open, pocket clip. I still can't decide. This is no pocket clip, of course. This is a traditional knife. I like how you can take it apart. You cannot take this apart, of course. It's just like your granddad's pocket knife, right? And nothing wrong with that. I kind of like it. But, I think it's D2 steel. Yep, D2 steel. So it's just a cheaper steel, you know, cheap knife. This is a $30 knife, but nothing wrong with it. This next one, has this back part, but this is as far as you can flip it, you know, so, you know, you have to do the same thing. Put your hand in harm's way to close it. One hand opening though. I'm gonna cut myself. I'm behind this video camera, so it's kind of funny, but I love the way this looks. This is an M&P Bodyguard made by Smith & Wesson, and I think it's also made in China. China. I prefer stuff that's US made because it's usually nicer quality, maybe more expensive, but I do not like this lock. I think they call that a liner lock. I'm not a big fan of it. This one is blade up, or blade down, sorry. When it goes in your pocket, so you can pocket clip, the blade is down. Some people don't like that. I think the other way, blade up, is more popular. I haven't made up my mind one way or the other. But anyway, that's a good looking knife. I also like the black blade, but I've been watching Wrangle Star a whole lot. I like a lot of his content. And he does not like the black blade either, because this eventually wears off and it looks really crappy. I've seen pictures of people's knives with these coated blades, and they just look awful after a few years of use. You can see I have a little, you know, essentially look like that, but way worse. But anyway, that's another knife. These two, so I used to wear a suit to work, and I was looking for a really small profile knife. You know, at first I went with this one, carried this one for a little bit, just a buck knife. But I got this scar from it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Right there, the end of this finger. It closed on me, so I was carving. It's an embarrassing story, but I was carving a heart when I got proposed, or when I proposed to my wife, and I only got half the heart done. So yeah, it closed on my finger, and it's this back lock. I don't know if it failed or if I failed. Probably a combo of both. But these locks, and you can just break this knife. Look, it's just cheap, you know. And I think this is made in America, USA. Look at that. So, but this is just a cheap knife. You know, you can't take it apart. I don't like that. Yeah, it's just, you get what you pay for, you know, with most everything in life. And plus it's super tiny. I mean, you can get 2.5 fingers on here, you know. One thing I didn't mention about this knife is I love that you can do, you know, about 4 fingers. I got tiny hands. Or you can get a real good purchase on it like this, you know, get your other finger. Anyway, I like that feature about this knife. But this knife had to go. After that little incident of mine, cut myself real bad. I mean, I had to get like 3 stitches. Anyway, that knife is a piece of garbage. This one I bought, it's super thin. Just from my suit. You could take it apart. This is actually a pretty nice knife. I like this one, Gerber. It's also a black blade. It just looks slick, you know, gentleman's little knife. No pocket clip. Liner lock though, you know, it's so tiny, it's just hard to get your fingernails in there. And as you can see, my fingernails from opening these knives are getting all chipped. But anyway, these are my previous knives. I actually have one more in my game room that I just use to open packages because I'm OCD. But anyway, so those are my old knives. And now for my new one. I mentioned Wrangle Star, so you might have guessed what I chose. The Benchmade Osborne 940. This knife is amazing. So I got it inscribed, or lasered on there. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm the third of a family name, so I got the Roman numeral 3 on there. You can see I've already got some nicks on it because I carry it in my pocket, but it is a beautiful knife. Benchmade. Got the axis lock, so it's one hand opening, one hand close. I haven't really gotten the hang of it yet. I'm still, you know, I just got it today, so, but you can one hand open, one hand close. And I don't have much room behind this camera, but you can just flick it open. Like, you just hold this lock and this thing just, you know, has to loosen up. It breaks in, is what they say. But I love the green. Anodized aluminum. You could take it apart to clean it. one hand opening, one hand close. I love the blade. It's got a real thick reverse tanto blade design. See if it'll focus. Yeah, there you go. Reverse tanto. It's not going to do it for me. But anyway, and it's also got that purple. Look how slick that looks. It's so cool. You barely notice it unless you're really looking for it, you know. But it is just a beautiful knife. Super sharp from the factory. USA made. USA made. It is the Osborne. The guy that made this was a rancher that designed this knife. And he designed it to be a tough knife. And at the time, all the knives being created had black scales, right? So he wanted to make one that stood out. And he chose green, which green's my favorite color. So this one has always stood out to me as just a special knife. You know, I haven't used it every day for years and years like some people have. This knife has been around for 20 years. It's extremely popular. This is the full size. They also make a mini version of it. Some people don't like this pocket clip, and they get a deep carry clip, which essentially means, I think, that this is just a little further up, and when it's in your pocket, you know, nothing hardly shows. This you know, this much will show. So whatever, that doesn't bother me. I like it the way it is. I love this knife. I've only had it for, you know, a few hours, but it is a beautiful knife. Beautiful. It's got this S30V steel. I'm looking through the camera. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good steel. They say. I'm no like snob, but it's blade up. A lot of people say that's better, so it sits in your pocket, blade up. You cannot see through it. Some people won't like that, so it doesn't have like the, you know. So this one would be easier to clean, right? But this one you can take apart and clean. And I guess that would be better, but I bet you could just get some canned air or whatever. It says on the Benchmade, the paperwork that came with it, that you can just clean it with soap and water, and I think that would be perfectly fine. And dry it immediately afterwards. But I love this knife, man. It comes in a cool little package, a little sleeve, microfiber sleeve, I guess, to like clean it or just store it. But I'm not gonna baby this knife, you know. I'm not gonna. Some people collect knives, and you know, teach his own. You know, do whatever you want. But I like to use. I want my knives, every one of them, to be a used knife. So like I said, it has anodized aluminum handles. It's got, this is titanium, I believe. That purple spacer is titanium. S30V blade steel. Let me make sure that's what it is. Yes, S30V. So pretty popular, but older now. You know, they've made better steels. But from what I've read, this is easy enough to sharpen, holds its edge for a long time. It's a great steel. And this is a knife you can hand down to your kids, your grandkids. This is a knife you can keep forever. And it looks so cool. This will eventually wear out, and you can see I've already, you know, it's nicked against my keys and stuff. But eventually, you look at old knives, this green is worn off, and it ages so beautifully. It's so cool. This has a reversible pocket clip, so you can put it on this side, see, if you'd like, left or right pocket, depending on how you like to carry it. This is made for right pocket, I believe. But anyway, I love this knife. It's beautiful. But what else? Axis lock. This is real popular. But you just push this down, and it loosens that little bar. See if you can see it. See. Anyway, real strong lock, they say. I don't want another one of these. So anyway, it feels awesome too. It's got like this texture to it. It's hard to describe. It's not like a slippery aluminum. It's like grippy. I like it. I like the way this knife feels. It's good. It's a good size for my hand. It's perfect. I did hold the smaller one in a store, and this one is just my favorite by far. Just because the smaller one just is tiny bit too small for my hand. But man, I love it, man. It gives me the fizz, as Wranglestar would say. But another EDC, I'll show you. This is my wallet, Trayvax. And let me take this. I'll take my stuff out of here so I don't dox myself. But this is an amazing wallet too. This is the 2.0. I can't remember what it's called. Trayvax something 2.0. But it's got your money clip held together by this paracord, and you can loosen the paracord, see, and then it just, this little piece right here latches on, holds it apart. See. But anyway, you can use this excess paracord to just loosen it, give you some more slack, replace the paracord. I mean, this is something you'll have for the rest of your life. I really wish I would have gotten this engraved, because you can also get it engraved. I emailed the company regarding that and asked if I could send it back in. This one's got, you know, some wear on it, some dings. I've dropped it a few times, but you know, it gives it character. Just like this knife. When this gets all worn down, it's just going to be cool, even cooler. You know, this will rub off, all this anodized green will rub off eventually. The only thing I think that will retain is that purple, which will be pretty cool. But it's just such a cool knife, man. I love it. I love it. See, eventually you can, I don't have enough room right here, but you can just fling it, you know, open and then shut just by pushing down on the axis lock. So this is going to be my new EDC. And see, this is kind of like an army green. This will be my wallet, and I've had this for years. I don't really know what this hole is for right here. If y'all know, let me know. But it's got like whatever, like a pry bar. And one more thing about this reverse tanto, I know I mentioned it, but the guy that designed it wanted a very strong knife. Like, he used this to dig in horse hooves, and what's common among most pocket knives, it's the first thing that breaks off is that tip, right? Because it's super thin. You know, those tips break off. This one is ridiculously thick, you know, towards the end, so it's just not gonna like snap off the end. One negative thing they do say about this knife, however, it's not good for slicing, which it's a knife. That's, you know, what they're referring to, I think, is like, you know, it's more like a wedge because it's so thick, you know. But I prefer that. I would rather my pocket knife to be strong, right? You know, because I guess slicing, the only thing you'd really run into issues with is food, and unless I'm camping, you know, I'm not using my pocket knife for cutting food, so it just doesn't bother me. Because Wranglestar mentioned that he uses his for cutting food, and one other thing I can't remember, but that's like his top used. You know, I just don't do that. I mean, I have done that, and I will do that, you know, if I need to, but it's just not a primary use of my pocket knife. But anyway, so I got my Trayvax 2.0, whatever it is, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description if I can remember to. But of course, my Benchmade 940 Osborne, and then these are my Galaxy Buds Pro. I'm a nerd, you know, what can I say? But these are awesome. I've had these for going on a year now, and this is another thing. I've bought probably 6 or 7 pairs of headsets. I use them every day, all day. And these, man, they have noise canceling, like a pass-through, it's called, where you can hear things around you going on. Or you can just turn that off, you know. Battery life is decent. I love these. Yeah, these are by far the nicest headphones I've ever owned. And then on my keychain, I carry just like a little tool. I like simple keychains that me and Wranglestar do have in common. But this is a screwdriver, flathead. And then on this side you have a Phillips head screwdriver. And then a bottle opener, if you need it. I think it even says what it does. Yeah, see, look, it's got a bottle on there. But anyway, that's my EDC right here. And the phone. I have a Galaxy S21 Ultra. And then that's really it. Just wanted to show off my new knife. Super in love with it. I love it, man. I hope to have this knife for the rest of my life. If I lost this, I'd be heartbroken. Oh, and Wranglestar also takes this clip off. He refuses. He claims that pocket clips were invented by knife manufacturers so you'd lose your knives, which is funny because it could be true. Who knows? But anyway, that is what I carry with me every day, or will from now on. These knives I'm probably going to list on eBay and get rid of them. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. SirVern out.